This is Dan of Vagabond Buddha. This guide teaches you the must-see locations in Malaysia. Of course, the more time you have to spend in Malaysia, the more places you can see. So this post includes a table that allocates how much time you should spend in each location as your total time in Malaysia increases from 7 days to 14 days to 30 days to 60 days or even 90 days if you have time. I've spent more than a year touring around Malaysia in the last 3 years, so I know where you should go and how much time you should spend in each place. A few years ago I spent more time in Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, but I met a beautiful woman, Chung Hoi of Hopo Ventures, when I visited Malaysia for the first time in 2016. This caused me to spend more time in Malaysia to be near her. We also travel around the world together. I'm from the USA. I'm going to show you videos of our travels in places around Malaysia as I tell you more about Malaysia. We just completed a world tour, as I said a few months ago, that lasted for 16 months. We visited 5 continents and 13 countries. All of my reports on the best retire or live cheap in paradise locations in the world are here on Vagabond Buddha. Links to everything I talk about is on Vagabond Buddha. Just click the link in the notes below this YouTube video to find links to everything I talk about on the webpage. Now we're back in Malaysia, but heading to Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia for the next 6 months. Click subscribe here on my YouTube channel or on Vagabond Buddha if you're curious about where we go next. Okay, Malaysia must-see places. Here are the Malaysia must-see places. How much time you spend in each place will depend on the total time you have in Malaysia. You can use this table here on the webpage to set your itinerary. I've created itineraries here for you anywhere from 7 days to 14 days to 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. And then I've listed all of the must-see places. And as you might imagine, if you only have 7 days, you're not going to be able to see as many places. But if you have 90 days, or even frankly 60 days, you'll be able to spend a good amount of time in each place and really get to know Malaysia. So first, I'll just give you a quick summary of each of the recommended places I think you should visit. The first place I'll mention is Kuala Lumpur. Kuala Lumpur is the capital of Malaysia, and it's a very international city with really great food, and it has a lot to do here, including the Petronas Towers, great restaurants, nightlife, shopping. But it also has the Chinatown and Little India, and it has a bunch of mosques, and there's just really a lot to see here. And so I'm going to recommend it no matter how much time you have to spend. The second place is Penang, which is an island in the north part of Malaysia, almost to Thailand, which is also a colonial era city. That was a British colony at one point, and you may know about Penang curries or spicy food, and they're from here. Penang's famous for its food. It's an island. There's beautiful jungles, beautiful temples, and so it's really a big win. You should check it out. And then Malacca. Malacca is one of the other large colonial era cities with a long, rich history, more to the north, that you're going to need to see no matter how long you're here. If you only have 7 days, I would spend 3 in Kuala Lumpur, 2 in Penang, and 2 in Malacca. Okay, the next place that I would, if I had more time than 7, if I had 14 days, I would spend a couple days in Langkawi. Langkawi is an island even further north than Penang. Actually physically right across from the border of where Penang, or where Malaysia meets Thailand. And it's one of the most beautiful islands in Malaysia, and it has an amazing rainforest and a jungle, and there's There's beautiful boat rides through the jungle where there's a lot of wildlife. You almost won't believe your eyes. It has an amazing, I'll call it a chairlift. I can't think of what it is, but it's a huge gondola that takes you up to the top of a big mountain that's really amazing and beautiful. And it has just gorgeous beaches and a lot of great food. And so if I was, I would add Langkawi. If I was going for 14 days, I would add Langkawi. So it would be 3 in Penang, 3 in Kuala Lumpur. And by the way, these are all on the table, so I'm probably not going to repeat myself. But if I'm here for 14 days, I would also go to the Cameron Highlands, which is Highlands are the names of places. Often the British called them Highlands because in the summer months or in the hot part of the year, the British would go to what they called highlands, which were much cooler because of elevation. And there's gorgeous mountain ranges in Cameron Highlands, and there's tea growing everywhere. So you have these beautiful tea gardens, and it's just a gorgeous site. I would spend a couple days there if I had 14 days. With 14 days, I would also visit the Perhentian Islands, which are in the northwest part of the country, almost to Thailand, and just gorgeous islands, fairly cheap to be there, swimming and snorkeling and fishing and beautiful beaches. So the Perhentian Islands are a big hit. Definitely would check those out if I'm there 14 days. Okay, now if I had 30 days, I would add Taman Negara. Taman Negara is a national park that's protected by the government of Malaysia, and it's just amazing rivers and jungle and amazing hiking. And it's one of the most beautiful jungles I've ever seen, and it's in the north above Kuala Lumpur. And so I would check that out if I had 30 days. Also, I would add Kota Kinabalu, which is in Borneo. If I had 30 days, you would fly from Kuala Lumpur to Kota Kinabalu. It's a city, and it's kind of a small little city, not much there, but a bunch of cool little islands off of it that you can take day trips to, where you'll get some amazing photographs and some nice day tours. And then you can, from there, with 30 days, I would head north and I would go to Sipalak, the orangutan sanctuary, and spend a couple days there. You may not know, but Malaysia has had a lot of the jungles cleared to grow palm oil. And so some of these sanctuaries, Sipalak's a sanctuary that's meant to protect the orangutan and other wildlife. And these gorgeous orangutan animals are free. They're not caged, they're out in the open, and you can, by walking through these wooden paths, you can see the sanctuary and see these beautiful animals. And then also, my last stop on a 30-day tour would include Semporna. Semporna is a small city in the north east part of Borneo in Malaysia, which has a bunch of islands on it, which are unquestionably some of the most beautiful islands in the world. We're talking just baby blue water with white sand beaches as far as the eye can see, and some of the best scuba diving in the world is at Sipadan. On a dive there, I saw probably 6 turtles in one dive, and just hundreds of kinds of fish and gorgeous coral reef. It's just an amazing place. So that winds up my 30-day. If I had 60 days, I would add. I would probably add the Tioman Island. I'd probably add 4 days. Now, each of these places that I've already discussed, I would just add the amount of time based on what I liked. But at 60 days, everything I'm recommending you would see here in Malaysia. And then the same with 90 days. I would just be adding time you spend in each place. So that's pretty much all the places. If you're from a favored country, such as USA, Canada, EU, Australia, or New Zealand, etc., You do not need a visa for a 90-day visit. In fact, I've never been asked by Malaysian immigration for proof of an onward ticket or proof of where I'm staying when I arrive at the airport. They just stamp my passport and send me on my way with 90 days. After 3 years and around 10 visits, all immigration has asked me for has been my passport and my arrival flight information. No departure flights, not where I'm staying, any of that. The only exception to that has been Malaysia Airlines. They are the only airline that has asked me for proof of an onward flight when I'm boarding my flight to Malaysia. Now that's not immigration, it's the airline. And Malaysia is the only one, Malaysian Airlines is the only one that might ask you for proof of your onward flight leaving Malaysia anytime in that 90-day period. I fly one of the Chinese airlines when I fly to Malaysia because they are usually cheaper. None of the Chinese airlines have ever asked me for proof of an onward flight when I board their flight headed to Malaysia. So stay away from Malaysian Airlines unless you're buying a round-trip ticket or an onward ticket to your next destination and have it available when you're trying to board your flight. I almost never buy round-trip tickets because I'm always moving forward. I almost never fly back when I fly to a new place. After this trip to Malaysia, as I say, we're heading to Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia. If you're ever boarding a flight and they ask you for proof of an onward flight, you can get that at various onward flight companies. Just Google onward flight proof. You can also just buy a ticket on Orbitz.com so you have proof of onward flight. Orbitz.com is one of the only providers that allows you to cancel within 24 hours to get a full refund. So technically you could buy your onward flight and then cancel before the 24-hour period is up. Please visit Vagabond Buddha and subscribe to our YouTube channel to find out all the best places to live or visit around the world. I've been to 65 countries so far. I started in 2007. Okay, all of those places I mentioned are on a table here and the number of days I'm recommending for each, depending on how long the total time is you're staying. But the next question you're going to have is, once you decide how long to spend in Malaysia and which of the above must-see places to visit, you'll need to pick the order of places to visit. I'm all about traveling cheap and slow. Since I work on my laptop, I'm in no hurry to get to anywhere special. Travel is a lifestyle for me. And so what I put together here is an example of the ways I would traverse Malaysia during a 90-day visit. And so whichever of these places you're not joining, you would just drop from this. But the order I would go is Langkawi. And by the way, there's directions here and also links to providers like bus providers or airlines, the way I would travel. But I would go from Langkawi to Penang, to Cameron Highlands, to Timennegara, to the Perhentian Islands, to Kuala Lumpur, to Malacca, to Tioman Island, Kota Kinabalu in Borneo, Sipalak Orangutan Sanctuary, and then Semporna. Would be my path through Malaysia. Flights. The above directions include mostly bus and minivan and train. Because I like being on the ground, I can look at a country out my window when I travel around. But you can, if your time is limited or your budget is really large and you don't like to see the places between destinations, you can fly from destination to destination for many of these legs. Do your flight searches on Skyscanner to get the best deals. Most flights will be cheapest on AirAsia, but be careful of going overweight with your luggage on AirAsia. They're famous for treating their customers like ATM machines. Check the weight allowance on any flights you book. They do not allow you to check anything for free, and they often weigh your checked luggage and your carry-on at the gate. If you're 1 ounce over what you're allowed, they're going to try to charge you a multiple of what they would have charged had you paid in advance. If you're going over on luggage, then buy the extra weight well in advance online to avoid their rip-off gate fees at check-in. Okay, I'm a digital nomad investigating the best retired, cheap, and paradise locations in the world. If you'd like to learn how to live in a paradise location for possibly less money than you're spending at home, or the various ways people make money online, grab a free copy of my ebook, How to Fire Your Boss and Travel the World. Okay, cost of living in Malaysia. As I said, I actually visited all of these places except Tiamen Island, but I didn't collect cost of living data for all of them. So here is the data I did collect. Click any of these links to find the source data or the reports I created when I was visiting these places. But these are ranges. For example, the Perhentian Islands will run you about $22 to $43 a day. Alor-Setar, $18 to $32. Borneo, $13 to $35. Forgive me, I'm quoting these in dollars. Right now, the Malaysian ringgit's about 4 to 1 for the dollar, so you just multiply this by 4 if you want to know ringgit. And the pound's about 5 to 1 today, so it's going to depend on your exchange rate. Kuala Lumpur is about $16 to $38 a day. Penang, $13 to $31 a day. And Malacca is about $15 to $35 a day. Now these estimates are cost of living for 1 month, based on a 1 month burn rate for one person as a temporary visitor. It only includes rent and 2 meals a day. Rent being like a hotel room or Airbnb or a hostel, depending on whether you're on the low side per day or the high side. For a full understanding of what it would cost you to live here, visit numbeo.com and add any items you spend money on above what I'm quoting here, the rent and 2 meals a day. The above numbers do not include alcohol, tours, extras, or buses, trains, ferries, or trains moving from one destination to the next. That will vary widely depending on how rich your taste is in moving around the globe. I'm not guaranteeing these prices. These are just my notes and estimates from the time of my visit and this post. Your costs will likely be drastically different depending on the lifestyle and the time since this post. Please book using our links to recommended flights, tours, or accommodations. You'll pay nothing extra, but we'll earn a small commission. That will help us keep traveling and producing this information for you. Cheapest flights, as I said, we almost always get our cheapest flights on Skyscanner. They have a web crawl that's constantly searching all of the airlines of the world, and so we recommend Skyscanner. Hey, if you're enjoying this, could you please like it, share it, comment, or subscribe? That will rank us higher in search engines so we can keep on making these travel videos. Okay, best guided tours in Malaysia. There's a couple links here. Just click the links and then put in whatever destination you're at in Malaysia, and you'll get an idea of what tours are available there if you're interested in tours. Malaysia walking tours. Most of the reports that I've written around the world have walking tours in them. Many parts of Malaysia were colonies of the Portuguese and the British or the Dutch. In those areas, the report we created included Old Town walking tours or colonial area walking tours. So you can click the reports and read those. And then there's videos of that. We also create nightlife walking tours in places that have a nightlife, and so you can see whether it's safe and where to go and that sort of thing. Just click on the above links or browse our YouTube channel to watch walking tours in each country and each place. Or you can buy our Retired Cheap reports, and those are single documents that have all the information and watchable videos embedded in them. It's kind of an easy way to go, and you can carry those, take them with you. Make sure to purchase a SIM card for your smartphone at the airport when you land in Malaysia, so you can use all of our walking tours and our maps of everything. Each report also includes our favorite restaurants. Many of our reports also include videos of us describing our favorite food in each destination. Grab a free copy of my ebook on the webpage. You'll learn how to save and earn money living internationally. Okay, Malaysia, facts and history. Many of our reports include facts and history about each destination. Knowing the history of a country, of course, will enrich the experience when you're there, if you know the background. So that's why I include that. So again, thanks for listening to our video. Subscribe if you'd like to know about where we go next, or you want to read any of our past or future reports. Love to have you as a subscriber. This is Dan of Vagabond Buddha. You have an amazing day.